Hi, this is Mike Madoda, and you can catch me and the team for all the latest breaking news out of the world of sport, local as well as international, on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZFM. We are Z-Team on ZFM Sport.
Z. The hottest station in the nation. ZFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's CFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on CFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Our time is gone exactly 7 past after the hour of 6 o'clock. Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to it. ZFM Sport on a Monday. Now, 3 was the number this past weekend. It's now 3 matches played in the group stages of the CAF Champions League and 3 matches without a goal for FC Platinum. That is Norman Mapeza's quandary at the moment. And 3 years after the NFL celebrated 50 years of Super Bowl, the Golden Jubilee, Tom Brady leads the New England Patriots to their 3rd title in 5 years, and it was a huge 3 points for Manchester City as Kun Aguero led from the front, scoring 3 goals as they beat Arsenal to ratchet up the pressure on long leaders Liverpool. And in Italy, Juventus and Parma could not be separated, scoring 3 goals apiece. Parma's equalizer coming in the 3rd minute of added time, and I'll add another 3 for you. 3 of the leading strikers in world football of this past generation, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo and Gonzalo Higuain, all scoring a brace this past weekend.
And that theme of 3 continues in the studio with the studio team, because the studio team comprises of Mike Madoda, Alois Bunjira, Chris Gray, and then it's +2 because this is Barry Manandi and Sean Tatrinyika as well. 3 is the number today, no doubt.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Just a reminder that straight after our play of the day, we'll be heading into the Profeeds Daily Sports Trivia. So you want to send in your hashtags early, and you could be the one lucky listener that we get to call back. Hashtag Profeeds Trivia. Now let's get into it on the home front. FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza is fighting hard to douse the raging flames triggered by his team selection and tactics in the CAF Champions League Group B match against Guinea's Horoya at Barber Fields, where the home side lost 1-0. The result dented the team's hopes of qualifying for the quarterfinals of Africa's Premier Club Tournament, with most of the narrative, if not all, blaming Mapeza for a negative approach. The former Warriors coach was fighting his corner, defending himself and trying to convince anybody who cared to listen that he was looking to be positive on Sunday, despite a 3-man defensive midfield that consisted of Devon Chafa, Kevin Madzongwe, as well as Edwin Madananga. Let's hear from FC Platinum gaffer Norman Mapeza.
I think on our part we were not our usual self today. Of course, we considered from a penalty, which I thought was a little bit harsh on our part. If you look at the position of the ball and where the player was going, he went straight to our goalkeeper. He wasn't going to the ball. So, but at the end of the day, it's part of the game. Now, for us now, it's a huge mountain to climb. But I think for me as a coach and for the players, it's a good experience. We just have to keep working hard and see what happens in our next games. Yeah, I can't say we're very cautious, because we wanted to play an open game. You can't say we're too defensive or we're too open. It was a game of football where we wanted a result. It's unfortunate we got the quarters on the counter and we ended up considering that penalty, but we wanted to win this match, so there was no way we were going to sit and defend.
Z.
FC Platinum lined up as follows: Petros Mari in goal. They had Farai Madananga, Devon Chafa, who was later replaced by Lamek Namo in the 58th minute. Kevin Madzongwe, Rafael Mduiwa, Charles Sibanda, who was replaced by Ayonde in the 78th minute. William Steamer, Gift Bello, Rafael Kutsanzira, Raman Kutsanzira, Kevin Moyo, Gift Mbweti, who was substituted for Ali Sadiki in the 72nd minute. Alois, you know what? The one thing that we've seen from Norman Mapeza is that he's chopped and changed his team in the last 3 matches, and we haven't seen any consistency in his selection or his tactics, and one wonders why he doesn't have more faith in the team that ran out at Barberfield Stadium against Orlando Pirates.
I also don't know. You know, when you want to see champions always have a consistent team. Wherever, if you look at Man City, you can actually, from here in Harare, you can actually name the first 11. Renat Fabish, dream team. You can basically name the first 11.
The teams pick themselves.
When Kalisto Pasua was winning those 4 championships, you could basically know who was going to trot onto the field. So when you lack consistency, there is something that is lacking in the team when there's no consistency in team selection.
Chris, is he overthinking it?
I think he is overthinking it, and it comes with the pressure of, I think for this particular match, the fact that they needed to get a win or basically they lowered drastically their chances of proceeding to the next round, because if you take a look at it, the next 2 games are away games. So the likelihood is that they probably at the best will get draws out of those games. But for me, it's slightly disappointing taking a look at that the team that ran out, comparing it to the team that ran out against Orlando Pirates at Barberfield. That team for me was brilliant. It's the best that I've seen FC Platinum playing, and they were playing against Orlando Pirates. They made Orlando Pirates sweat, which is not an easy job because Orlando Pirates is a decent side. So for me, just like what Alice is saying, the lack of inconsistency is a little bit worrying.
Well, the other 2 teams in the group, Orlando Pirates and Esperance of Tunis, they played out a goalless draw at the Orlando Stadium in Soweto. Taking a look at how things stand in Group B, Orlando Pirates and Esperance are joined by Horoya on 4 points. The difference one match day can make. And then FC Platinum, they are shakers. The solitary point. Well, we carry on with that theme of 3. There are 3 points behind the leading teams in the group. Barry, you take a look at FC Platinum, and I guess the simple thing, and we touched on this on Friday when we were building up to the match, that you can't win matches if you don't score goals. It's that simple.
That's it. And the thing is, I think we're all realizing a problem that existed that we skirted over and didn't address on the basis that the team was doing well locally. And I think the fact that we had a top goal scorer in Rodolfo Nyengetere, who was obviously then Soccer Star of the Year, out of midfield, and his mainline strikers weren't scoring goals in the league. He was beating teams 1-0 on the back of Rodolfo Nyengetere's solitary goals.
Yeah.
We thought to ourselves, FC Platinum is fine, but I think they have a problem in the striking department and haven't got a mainline striker who can deliver. So it goes back to Alois's argument from 2-3 weeks ago, where he talked about the fact that they need to go into the market at some point and get themselves a proper, honest-to-goodness striker who can tuck them in. A box striker. Somebody who can deliver the goods.
Well, for someone who has been chopping and changing their starting lineup, Alois, it seems that Norman Mapeza traditionally has been hesitant to blood in new players that join his squad. And so you find players that then have not been involved in this particular edition of the CAF Champions League. And of course, a case in point is Godnos Murugira, who could do a job, many people feel, in midfield or defense. He hasn't got a look in. He's gone back to the likes of Charles Sibanda as well, playing him in attack and so forth. But some of the players that he has added to the squad are not actually getting a look in. And then you wonder, why exactly are those players being brought in if they're not going to be involved?
Yeah, it brings those questions that probably we will start thinking, were they brought by the coach or the players were brought by the management. Probably the players, the contracts were negotiated by the management and the coach was not aware, and all that. So usually coaches don't like that kind of situation. I'm not so sure, because I'm also asking myself, I rate Godnos Murugira highly. I think he's one of the best players in the country at the moment. For him not to have a look in at a local team, I start thinking, what exactly is he doing wrong? So, in the background, whatever is happening at the team. But we would like to see a team like FC Platinum giving us a consistent lineup where we can actually say, when the chips are down, when they need a result, this is the team that is going to bring out. We know this is the best FC Platinum team. We should be ready to know that for a team that has won the championship for 2 seasons in a row.
Mike, you hit the nail on the head because you spoke about just before we started talking about this, you talked about that midfield that had Devon Chava, Kevin Madzongwe, and Edward Madananga. What does that got? It doesn't have creativity. Yeah. It doesn't have someone who can pick the lock when the team is sitting back and they're dropping off.
You need somebody that can maneuver. Ali Sadiki used to have that kind of.
And he had such a wonderful game versus Orlando Pirates.
He did it against Pirates.
He has got that. Ali Sadiki has got that.
And so consequently, I think while you were just assessing the game and just looking at it overall, right there is your answer. The setup was, let's not get beat, rather than let's go out and win.
But then that begs the question, is FC Platinum learning? We're constantly saying it's their first season in the CAF Champions League and this is their opportunity to learn. Second, sorry. Yes. If it's their opportunity to learn, are they learning? If after 3 matches you don't have a goal and everyone can see exactly where the problem is, so is FC Platinum learning?
I prefer learning and progressing.
And there has to be that also. You have to measure him by how the team performs in this particular edition as well. You also take a look at a player like Namo Lamek, who was brought in from Triangle. He was brought in as the direct replacement, a lot of people think, for Rodo Chinyengetere, and therefore again people are wondering why on earth is he not playing. If Rodo Chinyengetere has left and you try to bring in a player who could replace Chinyengetere's goals, then the player has to be Lamek Namo. And if you take a look at the game versus Horoya, it was when Lamek Namo came onto the field of play that FC Platinum actually started to play a bit in attack. And so
sting the palms of the goalkeeper.
I feel that he needs to be given more of a run, and that's the only way that he can learn the FC Platinum way and the expectations of Norman Maplays. I don't think you learn that by observation. No. You learn that by play, getting onto the field and playing.
And that's exactly it, Mike. That I think Norman Maplays are going into this campaign at 2 choices. Number 1, go out, learn, and let's not get beat. Okay, let's learn, but let's be tight. Let's defend against teams, which is the option that he seems to have chosen. Or go out there and have a good time, play swashbuckling football. If we get beaten 3-1, 3-2, whatever the case may be, we are learning what the African safari is.
That is me now.
I really wish he had gone for option 2.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. That's me. I would have gone for that. Just go out there,
go for goals, try and entertain, and try and enjoy the game. What do you guys think? Send us a message on 0731 168 045. That's 0731 168 045. Twitter and Facebook at ZFM Sport. And whilst you're at it, do send in your pro feeds hashtag so that you are in the running for our daily competition. The upcoming fixtures in Group B will see Horoya taking on FC Platinum on Tuesday the 12th of February, so not a lot of time left for Norman Mapeza to try and turn this weekend's result around. And then of course Esperance will host Orlando Pirates on the same day out in Tunis. And then on Friday the 8th of March it'll be Esperance taking on Horoya, and Orlando Pirates, Zika Magebola will host FC Platinum at the Orlando Stadium in Soweto.
Hi, this is Benjamin Locke. I'm on the Zimbabwe Davis Cup team, and you're listening to ZFM Sport.
Well, let's wrap up what happened over the weekend in local sport for you in tennis. Brothers Benjamin Locke were denied their first ITF World Tennis Tour title of the season after losing to the Italian pair of Enrico Dalla Valle and Francesco Forti in a tightly contested final of the M15 Sharm El Sheikh tournament in Egypt on Saturday. The Zimbabwean siblings, who had a memorable season together in 2018, put up a spirited performance as they fought back from losing the first set in a tiebreak to send the match back into a tiebreak. The third-seeded Italians, however, held their nerve to deny the fourth-seeded Locke brothers after grinding out a 7-6, 6-7, 10-7 win in 2 hours and 9 minutes. Your Horoya Basketball League results over the weekend. On the men's side of the draw, Cameo 46 beaten 52-46 by Raiders. JBC upended by Harare City Hornets 62-52. It was a ditto result for Black Rhinos 65 61-54. They beat the Glenview Rockets, and then Hustlers beating Foxes 61-49. On the women's side, Lady Lynx beating UZ Rookies 49-43. Green Stars beating Mavuku in a tightly contested affair 60-58. That one ended. Bunnies, interesting name, beating Raiders 56-28. Raiders beating Bunnies. And then Black Rhinos put to the sword by Harare City Hornets 154-26. That ended in favor of the Citizens. And in football news, Zifa has unveiled English sportswear supplier Umbro as the Warriors kit supplier. The national team had no supplier after parting ways with Malaysian sportswear company Mafro last year. Umbro sponsored the Warriors 5 years ago during the successful campaign at the 2014 Chan tournament held in South Africa. The unveiling was done in Harare this morning and comes after the new executive announced last month they were working on securing a reputable kit sponsor before the AFCON encounter against Congo in March. The Warriors will don the Umbro kit in that encounter, which will be played at the National Sports Stadium.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZFM Stereo and you got it. To all you Twitter heads, connect with ZFM Stereo on twitter.com/ZFM Stereo /ZFM Stereo.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. Whether it's the NBA or NFL, the best of America on ZFM Sport.
Tom Brady won a record 6th Super Bowl, and the New England Patriots tied the Pittsburgh Steelers' 6th stronghold of the Vince Lombardi Trophy as they beat the Los Angeles Rams 13-3 in Super Bowl 53, the lowest scoring final in NFL history. Sadly, the game itself was not the high-scoring thriller most had anticipated, with defense dominating throughout. It was, ironically, a whole 53 minutes until the first touchdown was finally scored. 3 throughout that story. Brady has praised his team's performance in a season he says most critics has written the Patriots off.
We had a lot of plays. I don't know if it affected them much there in the second half, certainly in the fourth quarter. You know, I thought we had a good time of possession, and that's, you know, sometimes when, you know, you make the most plays. So we moved the ball decent. We just couldn't get the points on the board, and for one reason or another. But in the end, it feels a lot better than last year when we did get some points on the board, and just a great win for our team. I just felt like we needed to grind it out all night. You know, we couldn't take our foot off the gas pedal. We were playing a great football team, and, you know, we couldn't. They're explosive in all areas, you know. They got the one turnover. You know, they got a great team.
That was, of course, Tom Brady, who now has 6 rings. They can't fit on one hand, but thank God he's got 2. Now, the previous mark of 21 combined points, which was the lowest in the Super Bowl, set by the undefeated Miami Dolphins and the Washington Redskins at Super Bowl 8, had stood for 46 years. The Patriots' winning total was also 1 fewer point than the previous low set by the Dolphins in their 14-7 win in 1973. Chris, hardly a classic, this one. We were all expecting a barnstorming, but it brought out the other side of the sport, because so many times we praise offense, we praise goals, and I remember what Mourinho said when he said, you know what, you guys want to just praise the goal scorers, you want to talk about the guys who score the goals, but you then do a disservice to the great defenders, the great defensive players of our time. And this is a case in point in this particular Super Bowl, where it was the defense that actually set the tone for the event.
Yeah, the game of great defense, I think it was.
100%.
And it was really just interesting to see. We had talked about the youthfulness versus the experience, and it was The clash for me was interesting, especially from the defensive perspective that, look, you know what, it took a whole 53 minutes before anything actually happened in this particular match. Everyone was expecting a high-scoring affair, and it didn't happen. And it, for me, dulled down the win a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of Jared Goff, Barry, as well as Tom Brady, that was the matchup we're expecting. The two quarterbacks, two players that were supposed to steer things in an offensive way, but those two players were well shackled, and none of them actually put their stamp on this particular final.
Yeah, it turned out to be a chess match, as Chris was saying, that the defensive sides actually shackled both quarterbacks that there was to no effect. I think we haven't seen Tom Brady be shackled to this extent and be ineffectual to this extent in a very, very long time. And I think it's kudos to the defensive effort of the Rams, because they performed absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, it just kills everything. You can praise the defensive play, but from a fan's perspective, it just kills. When it comes to big defensive, because
it's slightly different though. It's slightly different though with I think a game that's as structured as American football, because what you have are two sets of players with clearly defined roles that operate at different times, and so there are those who turn around and say, you know what, wow, we need to put this on DVD. This is what we need to show our defense. Take this to the colleges, how to shut it, and have them learn how to defend.
You are speaking from deep inside.
As a purist.
Yes, you are speaking from deep inside, not from the fan.
But I haven't heard fans complaining, Alois. No. The fans are not complaining.
When you're watching a game, you hardly get up and say, yeah, for a defense.
Wow, but you know what?
I
want to be the devil's advocate. I want to be the devil's advocate. I think you don't.
From a technical point.
You don't get that. But there are some defensive performances which are wow.
Once in a while.
I remember, and this is one.
This is one.
This is one.
Not once in a while as a moment.
Yes.
I'm actually talking about once in a while, a moment.
Yeah, but you see,
I'm talking about moments.
The with American, it's difficult for you because you defend in teams.
Yeah.
One guy can't really. Yes, you can get guys who stand out, but it's really your strategy that speaks into everything. That's why I'm saying we probably need to
Jose Mourinho's parking the bus with the team.
As a team. But that's different. In football, you appreciate like Paolo Maldini. We would watch Paolo Maldini and we would say, wow. As much as you say wow about Kun Aguero, you used to watch Alessandro Nesto.
Throw some more names. Cannavaro.
Yes.
We used to watch him with that awe of how he could break down play.
Even recently, Sergio Ramos.
You feel like what a player, but you won't jump off your seat.
No, I think it comes down to personal taste now. Because I used to.
You won't jump off his seat.
Barry, you know this. Even you know this, Alois, when we went to Germany. Who was my favorite player? Mats Hummels.
Mats Hummels, yeah.
My favorite player.
You're not jumping up and down and celebrating a tackle.
I was absolutely celebrating Mats Hummels. The way he just reads the game, passes the ball from the consummate. So we celebrate different things.
Here's my conviction. That the fans that are complaining about this being a dull affair,
not really complaining,
at least are saying that it dulls down the event, are those who have a cursory interest in and it's the Super Bowl. Everybody watches the Super Bowl because it's the Super Bowl, and so you want to see attacking play. But those fans who've been watching American football week in, week out, have a fair understanding of it, have said that this is one of the classics for the defense, less so than the offense.
Well, there were lots of people there who are not exactly students of the game. Let's just run through some of the celebs that were actually in attendance in Atlanta. The likes of Emma Stone, Danny DeVito, Queen Latifah, Tracy Morgan, Danny Trejo, as well as musicians like will.i.am, Lil Jon. They were all, of course, spotted out there. And then you had the likes of John Bon Jovi, who's a good friend, of course, of Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. He's always there out at the Patriots and whenever they're involved in the Super Bowl. And then you had Ludacris, Kevin Hart. Conor McGregor was there looking dapper in a purple jacket, as was his son. And who else was there? Harry Kane, the Tottenham striker.
It's so interesting seeing players from the EPL getting involved in this. There was a challenge, something like the Keep It Up challenge, where they actually used an American football and they were juggling it around. It was, I think, Chelsea players who were juggling it around. And you could actually see on their social media as well how they were following this particular game. The Super Bowl, I think, draws in even athletes
does,
from
yeah.
other walks of life, and that's something really special about
And it speaks into that NFL strategy of taking their games to London.
Yeah.
That's why you have
huge.
the likes of Harry Kane and also the partnership signed between Tottenham Hotspur and the NFL.
Yeah. The owners as well.
They are going to be hosting all NFL games in London for the next 10 years. That's the Tottenham Stadium, the new stadium that they've got. So grand occasion. Now, of course, it was also a big night of advertising. Crafting memorable Super Bowl advertising remains a formidable challenge as companies try to navigate the complicated waters of celebrity endorsements, corporate branding, hot button issues, and commercials designed to pitch products. The takeaway, however, from yesterday was too many sponsors simply tried too hard with few witty, surprising, and emotional spots genuinely standing out. Now, we're privileged to have a marketing and ad man in the studio, one Barry Menandi, and of course also a keen of media and marketing, Chris Gray. Now, you two guys, I want you to break it down for me. Barry, give me the winners, and Chris, give me the losers on the night.
Okay, for me, I would say that, and you hit it spot on, that balance. Brands are finding it difficult, and indeed the advertising agencies are finding it hard to balance those various elements. But I would say the winners for me were Bud Light. They had the Game of Thrones themed ad. I certainly found it very interesting, and I don't even drink. Many viewers were no doubt stunned.
So it was the dragon that got you.
Do you know, here's the thing. We were all stunned, and I was slightly confused because I was like, what is going on? And then this knight comes in wearing this Bud Light suit and all sorts. It was canny, but to be honest, the branding and the memorability was absolutely...
It got your attention.
That's why I'm listing it as a winner. It was a game of three themes thrown, and they even used the background music. So I think that's a winner.
Give me another one.
Kia did phenomenal. They had various ads for their various cars and for their big SUV, a fantastic ad. And there's a surplus of celebrity-driven ads. And there was an understated one that celebrated the ordinary people that produce Kia cars, and that one stood out from the crowd because it didn't try to use the celebrity endorsement. It used those who are actually making the cars and those who are building these machines and then showing what they can do.
The losers, Chris?
Okay.
The whack ones.
Pepsi. Pepsi kind of scored an own goal. They tried way too hard. They had this ad where people were asking, is Pepsi okay? Is Pepsi okay? And it's kind of... It's reminiscent of the fact that, you know what, is Pepsi okay?
You're doubting already. Is it okay?
Pepsi's one T-Mobile basically shoving freebies at people, and that, look, you know what, it's hella basic.
You pay 5 million
for giveaways?
To give free
Come on, you could have put that on ZFM stereo for much less.
Hi, I'm JC Krill, Springbok and Blue Bulls backline player. You are listening to ZFM Sports.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off an island where a terrifically confrontational and physical England got their 2019 Six Nations campaign off to the perfect start with a 32-20 bonus point win over defending champions Ireland in Dublin on Saturday. Earlier, Blair Kinghorn's hat-trick ensured Scotland made a winning start to the Six Nations with a 33-20 bonus point victory over Italy at Murrayfield. On Friday, Wales staged a remarkable second-half comeback to stun France 24-19 on a memorable opening Six Nations night in Paris. In Sydney, New Zealand made a double victory in the Rugby Sevens in Australia yesterday, winning both the men's and women's tournaments to top the overall standings. The All Black Sevens claimed their second title in the fourth leg of the season, comfortably beating the USA 21-5 in the men's final. Earlier, the Black Ferns Sevens stamped their dominance in the women's competition when they beat arch rivals Australia 34-10 in the final to extend their record 48-match unbeaten run. Touching down in Canberra, a resurgent Mitchell Starc took 5 wickets as Australia wrapped up a confidence-boosting 2-0 series thrashing of Sri Lanka, with the tourists scheduled for 149 in the second test at Canberra. In front of a sparse crowd on day 4, Sri Lanka resumed on 17 without loss, needing a daunting 516 to win and ending 366 short. There was little resistance from the understrength visitors, who whittled under a pace onslaught led by spearhead Starc, who ended with a 5 for 46 and took 10 wickets in the game as he emphatically bounced back from a lean spell.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by ProFeeds. ProFeeds, your feed and farm professionals.
All right, it's competition time. What do you need to do to participate every single day when we are here? Simply send us a WhatsApp message with the hashtag #ProFeedsTrivia, and you might be the one lucky listener that we call back. You field 2 questions. If you get both correct, you'll be our daily winner and in with a chance of winning our fabulous first prize for 2019, a Capri double door 290-litre fridge. That's the way to start the year, if you ask me. Our first draw will be on Friday, the 22nd of February. It seemed a long time, about 2 weeks ago. Well, let me tell you what, we're only about 3 weeks away.
We have a lucky contestant on the line. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Miss Red. How are you?
Miss Red. Oh, goodness. Unfortunately, you're not speaking to the Queen of Thailand.
Yeah, nice.
Why would I pass on Miss Red?
Oh, shame. Okay, we're going to ask you 2 questions, 1 local, 1 international. They're really easy today. Your first question, at which high school was former Zimbabwe cricket coach and captain Heath Streak educated?
I know it's a Blower school.
Correct.
Okay, that's a good start.
It's outside Bulawayo.
Yes,
that
outside.
Could help.
Yeah.
It's not actually a Bulawayo school.
It's a Blower school, right?
No, it's outside Bulawayo.
Oh, but it's Matabeleland.
Yes, Matabeleland. Yeah.
Yes, which goes all the way to Baitbridge, so you're not...
Oh, my God. Can I get a clue?
It's the name of a bird.
Well
it's gone.
Falcon.
Well, after that.
I mean, come on.
Well done, Matthew.
And your second question, how many Super Bowls has Tom Brady won with the New England Patriots?
Not that one. That one I don't know.
He's been watching memes all day.
Yes, that's a meme.
Can I make a guess then?
Yes, you can make a guess.
Okay, 4.
You are not listening to the show.
Shall we be good to him, though?
No. He must use the internet correctly.
And he must also know who you are, Chris.
Yes, yeah, no.
So, Matthew, thanks very much.
Listen to the show also.
Unfortunately, I wasn't Googling. But can I get a clue then?
It's all over, bro.
You've already tried.
You've tried, buddy.
Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, eh?
Cheers.
All right.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by ProFeeds. ProFeeds, the performance feed.
Alcohol may be hazardous to health if consumed to excess. The operation of machinery or driving after the consumption of alcohol is not advisable. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
Castle Lager is more than just beer. It's pure liquid gold, crafted from the finest local ingredients to deliver a taste that is somewhat dry, somewhat bitter, but never sweet. It's the taste that stood the test of time. It all comes together with a Castle.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZFM Sport. All the rivalry.
The captain likes the touch paper. It is blue touch paper. Always him on Derby Day.
All the stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice-cold finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
Pep Guardiola says he spoke a lot with the Manchester City side about their performance in the defeat by Newcastle as they bounced back with a 3-1 win over Arsenal yesterday. Sergio Aguero's hat-trick reduced the gap at the top of the Premier League to 2 points for 24 hours at least ahead of Liverpool's visit to West Ham, with City looking impressive again following a shock 2-1 defeat at St. James's Park. Speaking after the game, Pep admitted City aren't a good team when effort levels are down and inferred strong words were had with his side in recent days following the midweek defeat to Newcastle United.
Of course, you have to win a lot of games. When it happened after Newcastle, everybody thought, 7 points behind. Everybody expected the Liverpool win a Leicester. And even United expect win to Burnley. And So Tottenham is incredible. The mentality, the strength to fight and how many points they won in the last minutes. So a lot of things is going to happen until the end of the season. Every game will be tough. Bournemouth is able to beat 4-0 to Chelsea. 3 days later, next days go to Cardiff and lose. So that is a real Premier League. You know better than me what that means. What we have to do is this night to. I think the victory today, the most important thing is try to hold the players in which way we are a nice team.
Well, taking a look at the stats, they didn't suggest anything no different from a City win. City have won 4 consecutive top-flight games versus Arsenal. Since the start of 2018, only 2 teams have lost more away games than Arsenal in the Premier League, and that is Brighton and Huddersfield. And Manchester City have won 8 of their 9 games in all competitions. This year, they've lost just 1. They've scored 34 goals and conceded just 4 in return. Alois, there was only ever going to be 1 winner in this game, and the start that City had, it meant that it could have been a very terrible night for Arsenal, but in the end, I think 3 goals was just about fair enough.
Yeah, when they scored that early goal again for the second game in a row, I thought like, okay, here we go again. Let's see how they're going to react now. They scored first in 24 seconds and they lost the match. And this time around, I think they had their homework in order and they kept on. They kept their shape and they kept on going. And I also think that Arsenal didn't really come on the day. They didn't really trouble Man City at all. And it was like you say, one way I didn't see Arsenal troubling Man City at any given point.
No, you can't come if you don't shoot, can you?
No, you cannot. I was expecting a bit more bite from Arsenal, if I'm completely honest. I didn't think it would come thrust. To a 3-1. A bit more thrust. Especially out in front. So I was expecting a little bit more from them, but didn't turn out that way. I was expecting a draw. At worst for Arsenal, I was expecting a draw, but it was not to be, I guess.
I know you guys want to talk about the front, but I'd like to talk about the back. Mm-hmm. And I think that Pep has changed football again.
Yeah,
he's done it. He did it with Fernandinho. Okay, we saw him do it at Barcelona when he started introducing the false 9 concept. Now he's done it with Fernandinho. He's using Fernandinho as that centre half, come midfield,
like libero,
like a libero.
Yeah, he's doing it so well.
Fernandinho executed.
Fernandinho is a changed player. He's no more the dealing.
He's not. Yeah. And so he had a back 4 when they didn't have
Having said that, though, there were a couple of times when Fernandinho was caught badly out of position.
Correct.
Because he's venturing.
Yeah, where Arsenal could have exploited that. But Arsenal, I think there were at least 2 balls, if I remember. And Arsenal, of course, weren't able to capitalise on that. Let's take a look at the Premier League results. Tottenham 1-0 victors over Newcastle United. Brighton and Hove Albion goalless draw with Watford. Burnley and Southampton in a 1-1 draw. Chelsea too good for Huddersfield Town. Gonzalo Higuain with a brace. 5-0 it ended. Crystal Palace beat Fulham 2-0. Everton beaten at home by Wolves 3-1. Another impressive performance by the promoted side. Cardiff City 2-0 over Bournemouth. A surprise result, that one. Leicester City beaten by Manchester United. Pass from Pogba, goal from Rashford, as has become the theme since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over. And then Manchester City, of course, too good for Arsenal 3-1. There's one match tonight. It's Liverpool away in London to take on West Ham, and that game very quickly, guys. Liverpool, of course, it's a repeat of what we were seeing in January, where Liverpool was playing before City and able to exert pressure. Now it's Liverpool having to play after City.
Yeah, it's for me. It's always pressure. Always pressure to play after the team that you are competing against. You want to win your game and watch the other team. So I think, but then it comes to pedigree. If you are a championship winning team, you should actually be able to cope with both sides. I would love to see Liverpool dropping points tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure. As a Man United fan, that's only natural.
Because I want Man City to win the league.
Horsepower unmatched. Talk to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Now defending champions Bayern Munich crashed to a 3-1 shock defeat at Bayer Leverkusen on Saturday, allowing Borussia Dortmund to extend their lead at the top of the Bundesliga table to 7 points. Second half goals by Leverkusen's Leon Bailey, Kevin Volland and Lucas Alario inflicted only a fourth league defeat on second place Bayern this season, as Dortmund added a point to their lead despite drawing 1-1 at Eintracht Frankfurt. And this could sound a death knell to this championship. Bayern Munich, certainly after the winter break, looked like they were up for it. They looked like they could do the business, but it seems like results like these don't help. It doesn't help them.
Yeah, it doesn't help, but there's still 13 games to play, 39 points at stake. But catching Dortmund is going to be very difficult, because Dortmund look like they've got goals in them. They're scoring a lot of goals, and when they play badly, they still manage to score goals and draw matches. And so that for me is the big difference. And Bayern Munich are dependent on other teams having to beat Borussia Dortmund for them to actually get themselves back in with a shout. The only big thing for them is that they play Dortmund. And so they'll be hoping to have made a few inroads into the lead that Dortmund has got before they play. And then that becomes almost a do or die type of match, where you never know. Bayern Munich, with all the experience and all their pedigree players, could actually rise to the occasion.
Yeah, we talked about the pressure of chasing in England, Bunj, and this is exactly the same scenario as in England, because Bayern is chasing and you're under pressure to not get results like these, and they come.
Yeah, you know, when you are chasing, you are the ones who are very, very afraid of dropping a point, because you don't want the gap to go bigger. And then when you do that, you start making mistakes and all that. And when you drop the point, the confidence levels, they also drop. So I don't want chasing. I would rather be the pace setter.
Now, in Frankfurt, Dortmund deserved an away point and went ahead after a fantastic run by Rafael Guerreiro, who dribbled past two defenders and drew a third to leave Marco Reus free to fire home unmarked on 22 minutes. However, Frankfurt drew level 9 minutes before the break, when Luka Jovic, the league's top scorer with 14 goals, finally beat Dortmund goalkeeper Roman Bürki moments after seeing an effort save when he poked home a cross.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
Lionel Messi's 2 goals were not enough for Barcelona to salvage a win, as they were held to a 2-2 draw at home to Valencia. The hosts were 2-0 down after 32 minutes and not for the first time relied upon some magic from the 5-time World Player of the Year, who followed up his first half penalty with a brilliant curling equalizer. But despite Messi's 11th goal in his last 9 matches in all competition, Barcelona's run of 8 successive La Liga wins came to an end against an excellent Valencia side who stunned the hosts earlier on. And if you take a look at that one, after 8 successive wins, did anyone really expect Valencia to come and do what they did?
No. I think I thought they would have been competitive, but I expected Barcelona to still run out as winners, possibly by even 2 goals. But Valencia were very good. They were a thing. They were worth the lead. They were 2-0. And it took Barcelona to play very well to work their way back into the match. And I think you saw the relief and the celebration by Lionel Messi when he scored the equalizer. I think it was testament to how difficult it had been to actually pull level with that Valencia side.
And the Valencia side was very, very organized. And yes, they were fantastic going forward and able to hit Barcelona on the break. But certainly the organization and defense was stunning.
Karim Benzema's 18th goal of the season set Real Madrid on their way to a 3-0 La Liga victory as they finally wore down the stubborn Alaves. Alvaro Morata had an unconvincing debut as Atletico Madrid lost 1-0 at Real Betis on Sunday, their first loss in 19 league games.
Paolo Rossi, Marco van Basten, George Weah, Gabriel Batistuta, Alessandro Del Piero. Serie A has been home to some of the world's finest strikers. And now they welcome arguably the greatest of them all, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of Italian football on Z.
In Italy, Massimiliano Allegri was left fuming after Juventus surrendered a 2-goal lead to draw 3-3 with Parma on Saturday. Gervinho struck deep into stoppage time to complete the turnaround. His double and Antonino Barilla's goal cancelling out Cristiano Ronaldo's double and one from Daniele Rugani. The result saw Juve's lead at the top of Serie A cut to 9 points, capping a disappointing week in which Allegri's men also were beaten 3-0 by Atalanta in the Coppa Italia on Wednesday. In other matches, AC Milan drew 1-0 at Roma in a direct fighter for the final Champions League spot, with 23-year-old Krzysztof Piatek on target again for his new side. Lorenzo Insigne ended his goal drought as Napoli beat Sampdoria 3-0 on Saturday to keep Juventus within its sights, and the Inter Milan players left the field to deafening jeers from their own fans after they lost 1-0 to relegation-threatened Bologna in Serie A.
Indeed, let's wrap it up with the CAF Champions League roundup fixtures or the results. Mamelodi Sundowns 3-1 winners against ASEC Mimosas. Lobi Stars beaten at home by Wydad Casablanca 1-0. FC Platinum, we know the result, we spoke about it earlier, 1-0 to Horoya at Barber Fields. Orlando Pirates and Esperance Sportif playing out a 0-0 draw. In Group C, TP Mazembe 8-0 winners over Club African. Too good for Club African. Group D, AS Vito Club 2-2 draw with Saoura, and Al Ahly ran out convincing 5-0 winners against Simba Stars. Simba racho rekugara pano hatisisina tofana huenda. So we shall do exactly
Asante
that.
sana.
Tatanga na Bobby. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manande out.
Be sure to catch ZFM Sport every weekday on ZFM Stereo. My station, your station.